Hi all. Hi all. In this video, we'll talk about quick revision of functions. So, over the last course of assignments, we have been working a lot on something called as functions. So, essentially, we'll talk about like how we wrote functions. So, remember that all the program files that we wrote have this function called int main, and something used to happen here. Okay, this is how we used to write. And in most of our assignments, right above the main function, we wrote something like return type and then function name. So any name like a variable name, function name is also called as identifier. So do not forget this term. Any name, a function name or a variable name, it's called as identifier. Okay. So the function identifier or function name and then parenthesis. And within the parenthesis, it may or may not have some parameters, but we used to call these as, let's say, for example, parameters. And more specifically, we used to call them as formal parameters. Okay. So, and there is a semicolon to end this. So let's say if I'm writing a function for computing the area of a circle. Okay. So this function returns area, which is a double value or double type value, and the function name is area, and it takes a double parameter. Okay, it's not necessary that I have to give the parameter name right here, but I can just mention that okay, it's going to accept a variable of so and so data type, and from there on, we write our integer main, and here I'm calling the function. So I'm declaring a variable and I'm calling it as area. Uh, yeah, area and or let's say area one, and then I'm calling the function. The function name is area, and the value that I'm passing here is 3. Okay. Now, if we notice this piece of information, like uh, whatever we have here, whatever we write about the main, we used to call it as function prototype. Remember the name, function prototype. So a function prototype contains a return type. So what does this function return? So that type. And then what is the name of the function, which is also called as identifier. So remember, any name can also be called as identifier. And lastly, it's not necessary to give the parameter name, but it is necessary to mention the data type of parameter. So we call it as parameter types. So all these three put together, return type, name of the function or identifier, and parameter types forms function prototype. So remember this term carefully. Function prototype is what we used to write on top of the int main function. It consists of return type, name of the function or identifier, and parameter data types. If there's more than one parameter, then we have to specify the order of data types. So that's what we write in function prototype. Now, there is also a slight or similar term coming in place, which we used to call as function signature. So in class also we have discussed this. Function signature is this. The difference between function prototype and function signature is that function signature does not include return type. So this is a function signature. So it only includes name of the function. Always remember, any name is also called as identifier. And it also contains parameter types. So the difference, if you notice, there's no return type in function signature. Okay, so that's pretty much about function prototype versus function signature and function prototype in general. Now, talking about this line here, okay, this is where we call as calling a function. So calling a function, like how we call a friend, calling a function means we are asking the compiler to run what's inside the function. So whatever that's inside the function, that will be executed at this place. And this is what we call as calling a function. Now, the last thing, I gave the function prototype. I wrote the main function, which every CPP file that we have been writing requires in order to be executable. And I'm calling the function. Everything is good. But one important thing that I missed here is that every function should have definition. So let's see the function definition. So like we said, the data type of return, whatever that function returns is double. So double is the value that this function is going to return. And the name or identifier of the function is area. And the parameter that it is going to be accept is of double type. And now here I have to specify the parameter name. This is must. Okay. And always remember, whenever we talk about anything like if statements or structures or functions, we talk about block of code, and block of code is represented using a couple of curly braces. And now all I'm doing here is that I'm simply writing a return statement, return 2 times, or it's pi r square, my bad. So whatever the radius, pi value, I'm considering 3.14. Whatever the radius we receive inside this function, we simply give it back. So pi r square, I'm doing this. So the key things to notice here is that this part right here is called as function header. Okay, so when defining a function, what a function does, we write something called as function header. And if you notice, function header has a return type, and function header has a name, which is the function name, also called as identifier, and parameter, data type, and also most important, parameter name or identifier. Remember, any name is also called as an identifier. So anything that we write in the function header is also called as formal parameter. Okay, this is what we call as formal parameter. And now the remaining part here, from the curly braces to the end of curly braces, including the return statement, this is what we call as function body. Okay, so anything within the curly braces is the function body. This is the function header. Do not confuse function header with function prototype. Do not confuse function prototype with function signature. Get all these definitions correctly. And this is what we call as calling a function or function call. Function call also, we can call it simply. So function call or calling a function. So this is this function. Since if you notice the order, function main is calling function area. Okay, so function main is calling function area. So who is calling main function is calling. And whom is the main function calling? Main function is calling the area function. So this is what we call as calling function. So this is where a function call is being made. Notice this carefully. I'm calling it as calling function. In this part, my bad. Uh, and this part, notice carefully, it's called calling a function. And area in this case is called function. So this is slightly confusing and tricky, but watch the video multiple times if required. If you have any questions, do reach out to me. But all the terminologies within a function are so close that there's a minute difference. There's something called as function prototype and function signature. The only difference between them is that one has return type and the other doesn't consider return type. Something we call as calling a function, calling function, called function, function header, function prototype, function signature, function body. And then we have something also called as formal parameters. And on the other hand, we also have something called as actual parameters. So whatever the parameter that we use within calling function, like in main is calling function. So whatever we use here, this is called as actual parameter. So now the last thing, do not get confused with all these terms, formal parameters, actual parameters, and so on. The last thing, what's required for a function? So what's essentially required for a function is that it should have a function name. And return type, it's not required that a function has to return something, because remember that we always had these functions called as void functions where there is no return statement. So it's not really required, like the return statement in functions is optional. It's not really required. Okay, so do not worry about return statement. When it's optional, remember we use return type. And then the parameters are also optional. Also optional. So what's essentially required in a function is that every function should have a function name. So an identifier is must. And then every function should have a function header. Do not forget the header part. When we are defining a function, a header part is must and should. And lastly, every function should have function body. The rest, a return statement, it's optional. Every function needs a return type. Type is required, and return type can be void or any type that we have seen. Parameters are optional, but function header is must, function name is must, function body is must. So do not get confused or get lost between these three. And the last part, I'll quickly show something. So we'll do one more quick rip. So I have this function called void print message, and this doesn't take any parameters. Now I'm writing int main, and I'm calling this function print message. Done with int main. And the last part is define the function void print message. And I'm doing something like cout hello world. Now, if you notice, this is what we are calling as function prototype. And this entire thing, main, is calling function. Okay, this is calling function, and this entire thing is called function. My bad. Called function. And now Come on. And my pen is giving all sort of troubles. Yeah, this is called as called function. In this part, we just have seen this. This is called as function header, and this is called as function body, and that's pretty much. And anything that we, for example, if I'm using anything here, int, and let's say I'm giving two variables, int a equal to 10, b equal to 20. So int b equal to 20. Oh yeah. And here, if I'm giving a, b, so if I'm calling this, remember these are called as actual parameters. Okay. And these are called as formal parameters. Sorry for the trouble with my pen. Again, these are also called as formal parameters. But here I have to say that int a, int b. So these are formal parameters too. Formal parameters, actual parameters. So get all these things clearly cleared out before taking the final. That's all in this video. Thank you.